Hello everyone. Today is a very special day for me and for Alan. Alan today has arrived to one of the most iconic universities in the whole world. Yes, you might have guessed it by now. We are standing next to the most iconic Radcliffe Camera building of the Oxford University, a university which has a ranking of number 2 in the world. And many great leaders like Indira Gandhi, Bill Clinton, they all had their life path crossed through these same streets sometime in their life. Today, we're going to have a small tour of the university and we're going to meet one of the alumni of Allen Global Studies Division who just enrolled into this great prestigious university. Today, we are going to meet Aditya, and he's going to give us the tour of the Oxford University. So, Aditya, how is Oxford treating you?
Oh, Oxford's treating me very well. It's actually a mix of a lot of things. Even though the climate is cold, the people can be very warm. And although the roads are short, the conversations can be very long. Other than that, I think you get to see a lot of people who have done great things in life. And you get to see after your imposter syndromes that you are also worth coming here. I think I like Oxford.
That's good. And what are you currently pursuing in Oxford?
Currently, I'm pursuing physics. So basically, physics is one of the best things to do at Oxford. It's also one of the most reputable degrees in the world, a degree from Oxford in physics. And the people over here doing physics, there's people all over the world. They are best in their fields and they come to Oxford with their expertise. So anything that you want to learn, you get to learn from the world's best.
That's great. And how long is your course duration? Is it like 3-year course or 4-year course?
Oh, so like Oxford gives me independence on that point. So basically, if I want to do a physics 3-year course, so I can just get a bachelor's. But if I like physics more, I can just do another year and I get a master's with it too.
Brings me back to the early days of your education. Can you tell me more about your interests when you were in 6th standard, 7th standard, your early days of academics?
Academical interests.
Yes.
Okay, so basically what I had was I'd like to thank my parents for that one. Because every year we just had a target. We just fixed an examination and we just said at the end of the year, I want to crack this examination, whatever it takes. So every year, so when I was in 4th, I just start for the Maharashtra State Scholarship, then the Navodaya entrance examinations in 5th, and slowly you just get into the things, like you just find new competitions to start. And that's how I just had a thing about physics. Even though I did not know this was physics, I just knew like, I like this part. Like even though it's maths, I just think I want to do something in this over the next few years. But after that, then you also get into a lot of extracurriculars. I think that was a big thing for me. Because I got into a lot of extracurriculars when I was young. Because I was a very hyperactive child back then.
Tell us more about your extracurricular achievements.
So my school in Parbhani was really known for fencing. It was one of the few schools that actually did fencing. So we had school equipment, and although they consider fencing an expensive sport because of the equipment, I didn't have to pay a penny because my school had all of them. So then I just started. It was a rite of passage, just seeing your seniors at school just sword fighting, and you just think, I want to do those things too. So basically, you just get into the training. Finally, districts, you just win districts, you go to divisions, then the states, and finally I ended up winning the state gold. So that was a big thing for me. I was really happy after that. Another thing for me was robotics, because although strangely there was a person in there who was actually pursuing robotics, and he wanted to encourage other people, specifically children, to do robotics. So we just spent there, we'd go over there, do 12-year sessions, just tinkering with robots, having calluses, just bleeding and stuff with nuts and bolts. Finally, we won state championships, international robotics leagues, and so for the next 3 years, there was National Junior Robocon. I won a prize over there.
So that basically grew your interest.
Yeah, so like that basically made, like I was the controller. So whenever there's a track, you just need to keep in mind whether the center of gravity is fine for the robo. Will it fall off an obstacle? So I think that was a big thing that pushed me towards physics even more.
That's great. And that in turn also pushed you for looking foreign education as well.
Because you meet international people over there. So you get a different perspective of the meeting new people, and you just get an idea that there's things outside that we don't get in India. Your MBA in University of why did you choose
Long story short, what I wanted to do was to be in UK first of all, and the semesters and everything.
You just came into the UK and you what was experience?
Yeah. So we are at the JCR, known as Junior Formal. This is the place where every section or juniors listen. They all come here to have their own events. They can have scavenger hunt, they can have treasure hunt as well. And this is basically for them to relax, chill a bit. That's like fantastic pool table as well. It's a great concept.
Yeah. People just walk over there, but then some people need to do a lot of traveling to walk.
And what about those electric mobiles and all that?
Oh yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen. I haven't tried.
So why did you name them?
So it's just like an 18, but for some reason we call it the bus.
So it's written 6A Kulkarni.
A lot more costly than I.
Now we are at the student accommodation. So this is one of their rooms. I will have a look at it. Come. So basically I think it's a very spacious room given that it's in UK, and you get all the basic amenities. You get a microwave as well, just for you to cook your food. Nice single bed, heater, everything is good. Right, so we are now standing next to the great hall where every student is coming down here with their meals, sitting here and having them with their colleagues and their fellow. Let's have a look.
So since I come from a small town called Parvani, I had no idea. The only thing about Oxford was the dictionary. So I had no idea about the university or how we do it. So when I joined Alan in 10th, I met with Komal Dogra ma'am. So she just gave me counseling all around the years. And then AGSD came in during 11th. So then she said, Aditya, you should try AGSD. I think it would help you a lot. So like my mother just said, try it. Maybe you'd just get something to know about MS or stuff. Because everyone wants to do MS in the US. So then finally I joined AGSD. I get a scholarship at a start. So it wasn't costly for me. And then after I do it, so like I just meet with Apur Bhatt sir and other English faculties. And then I just had an interview, and then they just asked me about all my hobbies, what I did, my achievements, and they said, Aditya, we should try for Oxford. And I was shocked for the first few minutes, like, can I actually get into Oxford, someone like me? Like, that's one of the worst things to do, I think, because everyone can get into Oxford. You just, like, half the people that don't get into Oxford are because they just don't think they can and don't apply. That's one of the biggest things holding you back, it's yourself. But other than that, I think after that, so then I just called people at AGSD. They just told me that you have to give the examinations, APs and stuff, and then they just give me centers, and they also gave me classes. So basically, I was completely prepared for the profile stuff of academics. And after that, it was a bit expensive, like the exams and stuff. They're generally expensive, but other than that, the final result is worth it.
As I said, like AGSD is for every student, and anyone can get into it. English language is also a very critical part in this journey. So can you tell me a bit about your journey with English? And I can see you're speaking very well.
Thank you.
So tell us a bit about that. How did you learn that?
English language. So basically that's a really big problem for everyone in India, at least where I was from. So in Parbhani, although we could speak English in school, इतना आइडिया नहीं था normal spontaneously बात करने का. But then slowly but surely you just keep talking, you just keep putting yourself out there in speech competitions and stuff. And finally you just get to learn what you need to speak, how you need to speak. But then after that I moved to Pune, and then I learned that there's a whole level of English around here that we don't know at all. But finally, so then there's exams like SATs and IELTS and TOEFL. So like when I was at AGSD, सो कि उन्होंने फिर मुझे बताया कि आदित्य ये होता है, राइटिंग, लर्निंग, स्पीकिंग। तो उन्होंने सबका मुझे फिर एक इंटरव्यू लिया कि आदित्य ये टॉपिक है, इसके ऊपर 2 मिनट बात कर। मैं बोला मैम 2 मिनट बात करना है इस पर अभी? फिर उसके बाद फिर उन्होंने बताया और फिर थोड़े टाइम बाद फिर अच्छे से प्रैक्टिस हो गई थी। तो उसकी वजह से कि AGSD वगैरह की वजह से जो इंग्लिश प्रिपरेशन होता है, so like that prepares you for the interviews at Oxford, so you can communicate yourself really well. Because one of the big things that people don't do is they get really good marks in their entrance test, but they cannot communicate well, and that's why they just don't make it. Yeah.
As he said, skill is a big thing as well. English is also a skill. I would also like to ask you, and what would you like to tell our Hindi medium students? उनके लिए अगर आपके पास कोई recommendation हो, क्योंकि एज अ हिंदी मीडियम स्टूडेंट कई बार वो सोच सकते हैं कि ऑक्सफोर्ड में हम आ सकते हैं या नहीं आ सकते हैं, विल दैट बी अ लैंग्वेज बैरियर? डू यू थिंक AGSD can help in that as well?
Oh, of course, obviously it will. So basically, one of the smartest people I knew was from a semi-Marathi medium school. So I don't think smartness has language barriers, but the one thing you can find your problems at is expressing yourself. So if you are preparing for TOEFL or something, you don't need anything else. You don't need to worry about it. Alan has its own courses for all these examinations. So I think the one problem you have is English, and Alan will help you do it. I don't think you need anything else.
Letter of recommendations and statement of purpose. These two are very integral part of any student wanting to go and study abroad. So how did AGSD help you in that?
Okay, so when I first started all this process, all of these things were completely new to me. So I had no idea what SOPs and LORs are or how I'm supposed to do things. So basically what they did for me was they had interviews with me, like Apur sir, Komal ma'am. All of them first asked me, Aditya, what are your likes, your dislikes, your hobbies? Then they advised me what I should do for the next 1 or 2 years. Since I think I joined rather late in AGSD, because I think profile building is a really long time. So I think still they just first got to know me. It's like who am I, what I like to do, and after that they advised me what to do. It's like who I should become to be a candidate worthy of getting into university. After that, so they just gave me things to do, and at the end of the year when the time came for me to submit my SOP and LOR, they just told me, like, they gave me guidelines on how to write my SOP, and I think I like my SOP a lot because of it. LORs also same thing. They just ask you, they give you a reference to what to do things, and you end up with a really good LOR.
Yeah, after you decided your dream college is Oxford, what advice would you give to other students so that they can pursue it and achieve that?
Okay. One of the biggest misconceptions is that Oxford cares about your extracurriculars. So Oxford doesn't care about extracurriculars. So I'll just advise, like, whatever subject you choose, just be really good at it. Like, spend your spare time reading lectures or articles on your subject, whether it be physics, whether it be philosophy, economics, anything. Just love your subject and let them know that you love the subject. You'll get into Oxford. I spent my free time, I created another thing. So like I used to post questions every week. I used to design questions, or if I found a good questions, I just put it on my Allen group that I had created of about 100 members. So every Saturday, so I just try to discuss it, and I'd give points to people who actually participated. So they were mostly my friends. After that, I think it's mostly about extracurriculars. So I joined competitions, societies, and then there's books. So like I think Allen faculty is probably guide.
So Aditya, for the students studying in AGSD currently, and the students who are going to join Allen Global Studies soon, what advice would you give them?
I think the biggest thing is to just just set aside an hour and just there's this introspection form that Alan gives whenever you join AGSD. Like who you are, what do you want to do in the next 5 years. So just sit down, close your eyes, and think not what your parents want you to be, but what you want to be. Like once you have that destination fixed in your mind, then think how can you achieve that destination. So then, like for me, although I didn't decide on my universities that early because I didn't expect I would get into Oxford. So then I just did what I could. So like whatever you do less things, do fewer things, but do good. Like I did robotics, but I made sure I did international stuff. I did fencing, but I made sure I went to state levels. So I think you don't have to get into a lot of things. Don't be confused. And I think to not be confused is a place where you need a guidance. So I think it could be your parents, people who already know stuff, but I don't think there's that big of an awareness in India about things. And even people who think they do, well, they don't know a lot. So it can be a bad thing, since half information is not really a good thing. So I think expert advice is a good thing in that front, because say like I had Yashi ma'am for SAT advice. So for SAT prep, she just gave me English, and I think my English has been a lot better because of Yashi ma'am. So after that, I think there's academics. So you need to know that the direction you're going in is a good thing, because you could use some really small niche field, but then you'll be wondering what your career is in the next 5 years. Or you could go for a really broad thing and you'll find out that you don't know exactly what you want to do. So I think in this scenario, talking to people who actually know and who have guided people like you is a good thing. I think experts at AGSD were that good thing for me.
So as Aditya said, it's about being good at something and also starting early. So Aditya, what are your future plans?
So since I'm doing physics at Oxford right now, there's still a few more years for me to actually decide what I am. So I'm just looking around for other things, other careers. But I think the big thing over here is, since like when I was at India, so like my mother has a bachelor's in physics. So when I told her, Mama, I'm Oxford mein ho gaya, my mother said, what will you do with physics, beta? So since that was, so like that made me think. So like I had to show my parents that, Papa, this is what I can do with a physics degree. I think in the UK, at least from Oxford, if you do physics or maths or computer science, that's like a gold degree for a lot of things. So people who do physics generally end up getting into Google or Microsoft in the technology sector. They get into investment banking, management consulting. Or if you want to stay on the academic side of things, the Oxford tag on your resume is a really big thing. Like you can just choose for, it's like if you want to wander over the world, if you have a really niche field where you want to work in with experts, you can just apply over there, and I think you'll have the first preference over there. Other than that, I think still I'll probably come in to do internship projects at India, because Indian food is really good. I still miss it.
Well, as they say, it's all part of journey and the journey never ends. So start your journey with AGSD now. Thank you again, Aditya,
Thank you.
for your time today.
So good to meet you.
Good to meet you.